Hello? Hello? Hello, 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 hello. Alright. Let's get on with this. Alright, hello guys. Welcome back to a video that I'm going to be making for the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to make one more after this, and then I'm going to actually make one more video on Election Day. Putting my prediction, giving my analysis on the race so far. That means the Senate, House, and the governorship, and the presidency, of course. So, we're going to be looking at a multitude of things. We're going to look at historical trends when it comes to these states. We're going to look at the polling. We're going to look at polling comparing from 2016, 2020 to see just how different this election really is. I know a lot of people say, well, this is like 2016. It's not. It's not like 2016, actually. 538, but you can also use Real Clear Politics if you wish to do that. So there's Real Clear Politics. This is just a map I was fooling with. I would say, yeah, right. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at the polling. As you know, Joe Biden is actually in the lead right now, quite a significant lead. And I know that these IBD polls have shown Joe Biden closer, but I have done analysis, and let's look at those polls. Let's look at the difference in those polls than what they usually are. The problem with these polls is that they don't poll enough independents, which Joe Biden is winning. They only poll... I want to see. So yeah. Joe Biden, the thing is he's actually doing really well in a lot of these states, but some of them I wouldn't say are safe at all. I actually, if you asked me a week ago who's going to win this race, I'd say Biden. But as of right now, I think Biden is about a 90% chance. There's a 10% chance Trump could win. But, let's go ahead and look at these polls. So these USC polls, they're rated B and C rated pollsters. And they show Biden up 12. This was released yesterday. It was done through the 6th to the 19th. It shows Biden up 12. We're going to do a deep dive into each one of these polls to tell you what all the information shows when it comes to the USC polls and even the IBD polls, Insider Advantage, which is interesting. Let's go ahead and be clear about that. The Siena College, of course, the New York Times, which is a pretty reliable pollster, as you can see, because they're rated A+. They've obviously been more accurate than others. And 538, honestly, has been more accurate in historical means than Real Clear Politics, even though I think Real Clear Politics was more accurate in 2016. But other than that, I think 538 does a better job at being more accurate. And the thing is, guys, is that the polls in 2016 did not take into account those really rural, high school educated people who, you know, went for Trump heavily by 60% or so. Trump won about 65% of them. 60%. Something like that. So the thing is that Joe Biden's overdoing what he did, what Hillary Clinton did with white voters and older voters. Of course, he's doing better with older voters. Even though there is some conflicting data, IBD, which I trust overall, but it's just weird that they're the only poll showing it getting closer. And I would count these as outliers. I would say these are outliers. I would say, just for the sake of it, I would say that they're outliers. Because every other poll shows Biden up quite a bit. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and look at these polls. Let's go ahead and look at the, let's go ahead and look at the 538 national polling average. So let's go ahead and look. It looks like the national polling average has gone down a little bit. Not much. I think that's normal at the end of an election for it to get a little narrower. But the thing is, guys, is it's not as narrow as it should be. It should be much narrower at this point in the race because it's so late in the race. Most people are decided. There are not a lot of undecided voters in this race. As you can see, you know, if Joe Biden's problem is that he went from 11 points to only 9 points, then Trump is in trouble, okay? Because 9 points is quite a lot. Just for reference, Barack Obama won by 6 to 7 points in his race, and he won in a blowout in 2008. So, that's just for reference. Let's go ahead and look at the forecasts. And by the way, when you look at the national vote, it actually can push Joe Biden or any candidate over the finish line if they're leading by enough margin. Because where are those votes coming from? Where are those extra votes coming from? Because Hillary Clinton at this point in the race was only leading by 3 to 4%. Just remember that. It was a closer race. But then again, Hillary Clinton had the email scandal. It got tighter. Actually, she was leading by about 6% nationally. And then it got down to about 4, then about 3.4. And then Trump ended up losing the popular vote by 2%. So, 9% is really bad, definitely at this stage in the race with only 13 days to go, technically, by the time I saw. So 13 days to go, and that debate, my prediction, Joe Biden's going to do well, and Trump's going to do the same thing he did last time. He's going to try to interrupt, even though he can't. He won't be able to as much, but he'll still try, I'm sure, and I think that'll look poorly on his part. And I honestly think, let's go to the forecast. Yeah, so I think Biden's lead will grow. That is my prediction after the debate. I think he will grow by at least a point or two in the national. But as of right now, as you can see, there are three of these predictions that are a Trump win, and all the rest, look at these, all Biden wins. So let's look at this. Donald Trump. Oh, look, Donald Trump. Oh, wow, he went up from. Let's see. Oh, wow. Wow, he went up. Oh, wait. He went up from 12 to 13. Oh, wow. That's impressive. No, it's really not, guys. That's not impressive at all. Actually, Donald Trump was winning on Election Day. He had a 29 to 30% chance to win the presidency, which is not a bad chance either. Because you got to take into account 30% of the time that you spin the wheel, that's how much a chance it can hit Donald Trump. That's how much of a chance he had. He had a 30% chance. 30 is not a small number. So, of course, 538 was the most accurate when it came to that. And his chances, as you can see, before the debate, he was actually at 30%. He had a higher chance than he did on election night in 2016. And then, look, it went down back to where it historically was in 2016. It was 29 to 70. And then it started going down. And then it down as the polls started widening. Down. Down. And then once the debate hit, you can see, look at this. It just goes up. The debate hit. Up. See how high he went? Joe Biden made a gain of 10 percentage points in this race when it comes to chance of winning. Now, the popular vote, what does 538 predict? They predict about a 9-point victory, 8 to 9-point victory, not a bad chance at all. That's not bad at all. Actually, he's at one of the greatest points in the whole race, honestly, when it comes to the popular vote. And Trump wins the popular vote. He only has a 4% chance to actually win the popular vote. I would actually say he has a 0% chance to win the popular vote. I think we can all agree Donald Trump has 0 chance to win the popular vote. That's just not going to happen. I would say Biden has a 100% chance. That's just my analysis. I'm not saying 100% chance for Biden to win the presidency. I know it sounds crazy. You wouldn't think if you said 4 years ago that Trump would be losing by 9 percentage points nationally and he still had a 10% chance to win the presidency, you would call me crazy. Because it is. It is insane that there are so many people that are still willing to vote for Donald Trump after they think, most Americans think he's done poorly on COVID. The economy is not doing so well. There's a lot of people that are still doing well in the economy. I guess they're voting for him for that. And here's one thing. Joe Biden actually went down from 95% to 93% on winning the 50% of the popular vote or more. I think that's a great chance, though. Good Lord. And honestly, there's more of a chance that both of them, if you actually look at this, there's a 4% chance that both of them won't get to 50%. There's more of a chance that both of them will not get to 50% than Donald Trump getting to 50% in the popular vote. So this is saying Trump wins in a landslide. This is defined by winning the popular vote by double digits. Now, this is impossible for Donald Trump. I agree with them. I would just straight up put 0. He is not going to win by a double-digit margin in the popular vote. It is over when it comes to the popular vote. It's a done deal. And honestly, the election as a whole, the Electoral College is almost over. Biden wins in a landslide. Yes, I think it's a possibility. I think he could barely win by 10, but I don't think he's going to. I think it'll be more of an 8 to 9. As of right now, this could change. This could totally change. But as of right now, it would be about a 7 to 9 point victory in the popular vote. So a decent win. And obviously, Joe Biden has a 9% chance to win the popular vote and lose the Electoral College. That's close to what I said. I'm kind of confused why Trump has a 13% chance to win the presidency, but Joe Biden has that chance of, has only a 9% chance to lose the Electoral College but win the popular vote. If Donald Trump wins, he's going to lose the popular vote and win the Electoral College, just like he did 4 years ago. It's going to be a much wider margin. I would say he loses by 7 to 8 million more votes than last time, and by cheating, because he's obviously cheated. I mean, he's already, gotten that lawsuit concluded in Pennsylvania to throw away ballots that don't get enveloped properly. So, he's trying to suppress the vote like he always does. He tried to dismantle the post office. The court said he couldn't do that. So, of course, he couldn't do that. So that's good news, obviously. But no one wins the Electoral College. That's a less than 1% chance. I would say that's about a 1% chance. No, a 0.5% chance. So, yeah, I would say a less than 1% chance. Because there are some scenarios, which I will show you, where Donald Trump gets to... Hold on, I'm just checking something. Okay. There is actually a chance that Donald Trump ties Joe Biden, which, if this election was not rigged in any way, and by the way, it is not rigged by the Democrats, it is rigged by the Republicans, if anything, based on Donald Trump's actions he's taken to try to suppress mail-in ballots and try to, scare people away from voting by mail and stuff like that. So, if anything, it's Donald Trump who is suppressing the vote. And it looks like a less than 1% chance for that to happen. But I wouldn't count it out. It could happen. I doubt it will happen. They said the same thing in 2016, that it could tie. I didn't think it really could. I thought Donald Trump was going to win by a certain point. I was a Donald Trump supporter, by the way. Just as of, like, a year and a half ago, I was literally a Donald Trump supporter. Now I'm a pretty left-wing guy. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, to be transparent. But, okay. This is crazy to me. I don't think there's a chance at all that Donald Trump wins a state that Hillary Clinton won. I don't think that's possible. At this point, it's long gone. I would give him a 3 or 4, maybe 5% chance to do that. It could happen. I doubt it. But when you're already closer, doing worse in South Carolina, Indiana, Missouri, Montana, and Kansas than you were 4 years ago, then picking up a state that the Democrat won in a Democrat, let's go ahead and call it a wave year, because this is going to be a Democrat year. Democrats are leading by 8 percentage points in the generic national vote. When it comes to the political party, who's going to vote the most. So, yeah, I mean, I would give him a 4 or 5% chance to win any state that Hillary Clinton won, because most of the states that Hillary Clinton won are going to solidify for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not as liked, and we're going to look over that very soon. His approval numbers versus Hillary Clinton's. So, Biden has a 96% chance to win a state that Trump won. I say that's fair. I would say that's very fair. I would agree with that number, probably. The map stays exactly the same as it was in 2016. I don't think that's possible. I think the biggest battleground state that's going to go by the biggest margin to Joe Biden and flip to Joe Biden will be Michigan. I think it will go about 7 to 8 points for Joe Biden. Pennsylvania is going to be the closer one. Wisconsin could possibly be closer. But we'll talk about that in a bit when I get done with the analysis, of course. And the election hinges on a recount. Actually, a couple weeks ago, it was 6 in 10, a 100 chance. So it's actually gone down. So I think that's good news for Joe Biden. And let's go ahead and look at all these states. I told you this is a full, in-depth analysis. So let's go ahead. Okay, so as you can see, it's a complete toss-up. I do think Donald Trump will end up winning this, but that's a topic for another part of the video, but of the live stream. But I do think Donald Trump would win this narrowly by at least a percentage point or 2. I think it would be very narrow, and I do think Joe Biden does have a chance to win it. But if Joe Biden does well in the debates, and we see the polling post-debate, then I could say Joe Biden could possibly win by a percentage. Joe Biden's not going to win this in a landslide. It's not going to happen. Even Barack Obama, who was very popular, did not win Ohio in a landslide, even both times. He won by about 5 points in 2008. He won about 2.5 to 3 points in 2012. So I would say that Joe Biden, and Donald Trump, of course, won it by 8 percentage points in 2016. And as you can see, just look at this. Donald Trump has been having troubles in Ohio based on 538's forecast for a while. But at least at the beginning, he had a better shot. As you will notice, in a lot of these states, he was doing better at the beginning. Because a lot of people looked at him and said, okay, the economy's good, and I'm not really into politics, really. You know, those people that aren't into politics, that just kind of see it on the media or whatever, they see the economy doing well, they have a good job, and then it started going back and forth based on polling and demographics and voting history and things like that. So right now, as it stands, it's at a 50-50 chance. I would say it's more of a 55 for Donald Trump and a 45 for Joe Biden. I would say the turnout alone on Election Day will give Trump about a 1 to 2 point lead in the end of the day. The popular vote, obviously tied. I think Donald Trump would win by 50.5% to 49.5% roughly, give or take. And let's look at the polling. Actually, the latest poll was from Rasmussen, of course, Donald Trump's favorite pollster that he likes to brag about when he only has, like, barely any approval. Like, literally, he'll be at, like, 50%. He'll be like, yeah, it's my approval. I'm so approved. Everyone loves me. It's, like, literally just, like, 1% extra that loves him in a poll that oversamples Republicans heavily. And Joe Biden's still winning in a Rasmussen poll. By 1 percentage point, which is bad news for Donald Trump. And in the second most latest was a Quinnipiac poll, university poll, and it shows Biden up by 1. So that's roughly the same as the Rasmussen poll. But Morning Consult, which I find to be quite unreliable. I don't know why it's rated B to C. I find it quite unreliable based on history. Not because Donald Trump's winning. I do think Donald Trump's going to win the state. But in general, I think Morning Consult's a little more not. I just think it's not right the way they do their polling and stuff like that. I don't think it ends up showing what the country is looking like or the states that they poll. So let's look at the vote share. The polling average shows Donald Trump winning by 0.1%. But if you adjust the polling average, it's the same. Okay, so it's the same. So polls based on vote share. This basically means like how much, like based on demographics, and stuff like that. So this is based on the demographics of the state. Donald Trump obviously has a slight advantage in that category. And if the election were held today, they have it at 49.8% for Joe Biden to 49.2%. But I do think, and that's obviously with 75% using polls and 25% demographics, I would disagree with them there. I think Donald Trump's going to win Ohio, and I think he would win it today if it was the election very, very narrowly. Very, very narrowly, which is within the margin of error, of course. But the average, if you look at this, if Donald Trump was just a regular Republican, right? He was a regular Republican, and if he took, coronavirus, if coronavirus didn't happen and the economy was doing well, he would win this state by 8 percentage points. And you know what that means? That means he would win by almost the same amount that he won in 2016, which shows how far down he really is in this election. And the projected vote share is obviously tied. And this is the vote share, 93% vote share, 7% economics, and incumbency. Which, obviously, the economics and incumbency, I wouldn't say economics helps Donald Trump in any really good way. Yeah, that is Ohio. Let's go ahead and go, like I said, let's go ahead and fill out the map, and then I will give Ohio to Donald Trump. Let's go ahead and give the solid states. I don't remember which one of these was the one. You guys can tell me if you know. I haven't, I always forget. I get them mixed up. I don't remember. I think it's this one. Let's just say, no, wait. Yeah, it's that one. Okay. I think. Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, all these states, and I actually, shout out to Let's Talk Elections. We used to have like a little scruffle. I used to have another channel, and we had a little scuffle with each other, and that was when I was really ignorant, and I wanted to apologize to him. I really like your videos, and I wanted to say, if it weren't for you, you're very entertaining. Let's just say that. You're very entertaining, and I love your analysis. And I agree with a lot of what you say. Obviously, I disagree with some of it. But that's why I'm doing this video. So, those are the solid states, which, by the way, I got this idea from Let's Talk Elections as well, doing them by, percentage of margin, what they're going to win. I have a little different. When it comes to the margins, I do it based on a little bit of mix of likelihood that they win, and obviously the projection, and I compare it with 2016 to get my projection. So I would say Kansas is probably going to be actually a solid state. I know it's looked closer, but I actually looked in 2016, and a lot of the Kansas states were actually close to, and they actually had a conversation about it, talking about it could possibly go to Hillary Clinton. But other than that, I think the rest of the states could be closer. Let's go to the likely states. I would say South Carolina is likely. It is much closer than usual, and plus it has a very contentious Senate race going on right now between Lindsey Graham and Jamie Harrison, which looks like a Democrat could actually win the state. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible. I think it's going to be much closer than usual, and I think Donald Trump will outperform Lindsey Graham. But that doesn't say much, considering he's only, like, most of the polls, Lindsey Graham's either leading by a little or tied. So it's not really a thing. But we're going to go to the elections in the Senate in a bit. Of course, the governorship and everything, too. So let's go ahead and go to Utah. I think it's going to be likely. Just because I'm basing this off of the margin that it was compared to 4 years ago and the likelihood of winning it, but this one's more just based on the margin from 4 years ago and the polling and the margin that Joe Biden has now. He has gained a 20-point advantage that Hillary Clinton did not have because Evan McMullin dropped out of the race. Ran in Utah, and he won a lot of the votes. He won about 21% of the vote. So Hillary Clinton won about 23. A lot of people expected Evan McMullin to actually win more votes than Hillary Clinton in Utah, but that did not happen. And I think that Utah is going to be likely because just based on the fact that Joe Biden is going to get either high 30s or low 40% in Utah, a deeply, almost known as the most Republican state in the country, the most conservative state. So I would give that to him based on that. I think that that is just more likely. So Montana, I'm going to say likely because it is a lot closer. Plus, it has a Senate race that is closer than the presidential. I think the presidential will be a wider margin. But I do think the Senate race will pull down Donald Trump quite a bit. Just a little bit. And I don't think he's going to do as well there. Based on polling, based on, voting patterns. They just elected a Democrat just 2 years ago in 2018 for Senate. So, or was it governor? Yeah, I think it was Senate. So, yeah, so that's why I would give that to him. Missouri, mostly because of the polling, which shows it closer than 2016 was. But I would give it likely for Donald Trump. And say, because the polling, I think the polls are more accurate nowadays than they used to be. And I think Missouri is a likely state. I think it will probably go to Trump. And of course, Indiana will be a likely. I think it'll be about a 12-point win, which will be a narrower margin than Donald Trump won in 2016, which is why I'm giving it a likely, because it's a way smaller margin, at least by 6 to 7 percentage points than in 2016. So I'm going to go ahead and give that to Donald Trump by a likely margin. And Alaska. I think it's going to be likely, because it is actually much closer, and Alaska has been trending blue for quite a while. Honestly, in the next 3 or 4 elections, it could go blue. Surprisingly, I don't think it will for a long time, but I do think it is trending in a direction. And if you have the right candidate that can appeal to people in Alaska, people who have been thinking about trending more towards the Democratic Party, who have been turning more to the Democratic Party, more people, are moving to Alaska. A lot of people live in Alaska. Not a whole lot, obviously, just a pretty small amount compared to almost every other state. But, yeah. Let's go ahead and give Joe Biden. That's all of the states that are likely for Donald Trump. Which, as you notice, he was only at 82 when it comes to safe states. So that's pretty sad. I would say Oregon, is solid at this point. I mean, Joe Biden is winning so big around the country, it is completely solid. He's going to win it bigger than Hillary Clinton, more than likely, if the trends, based on everything that we've seen, keeps going the way it does, then he's going to win that. Illinois, obviously, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, all of these are going to go, and D.C., of course, for Joe Biden heavily. And Virginia is going to go solid for Joe Biden. Because, literally, he's ahead by 13 to 15 points. That's not a battleground state. That's honestly just gone. There's no way he can come back from this. So, let me go ahead and check something out. Okay. Okay, never mind. Okay. Yeah, and New Mexico, completely gone. Gone. Done. Donald Trump can't win it. He's losing it bigger than he ever has in 2016 in any poll. So I wouldn't say that he's doing particularly well or even well for a Republican. I would say he's doing worse than a Republican. And as you can remember, George W. Bush won New Mexico in 2004 for his reelection. So it's not like, this has just been voting blue forever. No, Donald Trump's very unappealing to minority voters, and there's a lot of minority Hispanic voters in New Mexico that are trending away from Donald Trump. Even though in some states like Florida, they are trending more in his direction. I think that New Mexico, Joe Biden's going to do very well with Hispanic voters. Yes, I think that is going to be a solid margin for Joe Biden. Yes. So let's go ahead. So, I'm trying to check. Oh, and Hawaii, of course, is going to be solid. I almost missed that one. So, that's all the solid ones for Joe Biden. As you can see, just with the solids, he has already racked up 200 electoral votes. And that's including 2 historically known. These are known as battleground states. New Mexico and Virginia. They are supposed to be battlegrounds. They are not in this election. This is not like 2016. This is not like any other election. Donald Trump is extremely unpopular, and Joe Biden is pretty popular. As of right now, I'm pretty sure he's up 4 to 5 points in popularity when it comes to his favorability, and Donald Trump is way in the water. So I would say that Colorado, let's go to the likely Biden states. I would say Colorado is likely. I would say mostly in the percentage is what I'm basing this on. The percentage is going to be likely. I do think it's about a 100% chance Joe Biden wins it. But I would say a 99% chance just to be safe. I could be wrong. But I do think Joe Biden really does well in Colorado. He has been leading in every single poll, and there is absolutely no evidence or data that shows otherwise, that he's going to do poorly. So, and Hillary Clinton won it. She's way less popular than Joe Biden, and Joe Biden has a much higher favorability, and Donald Trump has a very low favorability and very low approval rating, which also is probably more important than favorability. If Donald Trump had a high approval rating, maybe he could actually win re-election, but he does not. He has a low approval rating, and he has a low favorability rating. So let's go over to Nevada. I would actually agree. Joe Biden's leading in Nevada by quite a bit in almost every poll. He's leading in every single poll. Not one poll for months has had Donald Trump ahead in Nevada. And the problem with that is that in 2016, they actually had Donald Trump winning Nevada by 0.6% or so. And it overestimates Republicans. Just like in 2018, it overestimated Heller and the other Republican, I don't remember. But it overestimated them. Heller was actually supposed to win. He lost by 5%. So Donald Trump, I'm going to say, would probably lose by 10%, 7 to 10% in Nevada if the election were held today. And honestly, I think this is what the map is probably going to look like, unless something changes big time for Donald Trump. So let's go to other likely states for Joe Biden. Minnesota. Minnesota will be a likely state. I don't think it's going to be really close at all. I think it was close last time because, one, they already had 2 terms of Barack Obama, which was 2 terms of the same party, which obviously gave Donald Trump the advantage. I would say if Donald Trump ran against Barack Obama in 2012, he would have for sure lost. There would have been no way. He would have been the worst candidate. And the polling backs that up. There's actually polling to back that up, that Donald Trump does horribly against Barack Obama. Way worse than Hillary Clinton ever led by Donald Trump. So Donald Trump was lucky he ran in a time where Republicans were favored. So I don't think it was it was definitely more possible for him to win in 2016 and not possible at all in 2012. So I would say that Joe Biden's going to grow his lead. Almost every state in this country is going to get a little bluer, more than likely. Just a little bit. And I would say Minnesota goes likely for the vote margin, 7 to 8%, possibly 10%. And Joe Biden is doing really well in Minnesota. There was a poll out today, showed him 6 points ahead, but still, that's not that close. So, yeah, let's go with that. I would say Michigan is going to be a likely state. I know this is controversial, but let's go ahead and look at the polling. Let's go ahead and look at the polling in Michigan. Let's go ahead and look at the polling. Let's look at the state of Michigan. And as you'll see, it actually went down, actually. Donald Trump actually had a 9% chance as of yesterday, last time I checked, to win Michigan. Now it's at 8%. This is much lower than it was in 2016. Donald Trump actually had about a 15 to 17% chance to win. He's at 8% now. 92% chance for Joe Biden to win. So, that's really bad, obviously. And as you can see, this is the worst Donald Trump's ever done in the state of Michigan. And let's look at the last few polls. Let's look at a right-leaning poll. Harris X, that's a right-leaning poll. It usually overestimates Republicans. 11 points for Joe Biden. Okay, you want to go to a more recent poll. 7 points for Joe Biden. Decent margin. He's over 50%. That means he's going to win Michigan. It's just not going to happen for Donald Trump. Oh, look, Trafalgar. That shows Trump leading every single time. And it's completely irrelevant. One, because every other poll shows Joe Biden winning by almost at least 6 to 11 points total. While this is the only poll that shows Donald Trump leading, which is obviously not reliable. Even in the worst time for Donald Trump, Trafalgar shows Donald Trump leading. So I doubt they're accurate. And the polling average is actually about a 7-point lead, and adjusted polling average is the same. It's exactly the same, actually. So the polls based on vote share actually show about an 8-point victory for Joe Biden, a little less than 8. But today, if the election were held today, it would be 53.8%, and the average is 85% of polls, 15% of demographics, which means it takes into account the demographics of the state, like what kind of people live there, their economic background, their racial ethnicity, their status, their economic status, stuff like that. It takes that all into account. And it says right here, even Joe Biden, even if Donald Trump was popular and had a huge... And by the way, let's talk about the incumbency advantage, because this says incumbency. It says this is based on incumbency. I would say that Donald Trump does not have an incumbency advantage anymore. He has dwindled that away so fast that it's not even an advantage. Honestly, I think it's a downside for him. Honestly, him being an incumbent, I think it makes him look worse. The only reason he was allowed to run 4 years ago was because he could lie about his policies and say, oh, I don't support war, I don't support this, I don't support that. You know, I support healthcare for all. He said that one time. And he lied about all of that so he could win the election, of course. So he's not doing that now. As you notice, his message is constantly law and order, law and order, law and order. Protect the suburbs from... Most likely, I think we all know who he's talking about when he says protect the suburbs from poor people moving into the suburbs. He's talking about African Americans and Hispanic people who are traditionally living in more poverty than any other group in the country. So, of course, he's talking about that because he's a race baiter. I'm sorry, but it's true. And obviously, I agree with this. I think it's going to be about 8 to 9 point victory. That's why I characterize it as likely. I think that's a likely margin. I would say that's a good margin, a really good margin. And let's go ahead and get past Michigan, because I've already put Michigan as a likely. So, Joe Biden is at 241, Donald Trump's 125, but I haven't given him his likely states yet. and there's not going to be many more of those. Actually, I don't know if there's going to be any more of those. But, actually, yeah, I already gave Donald Trump's likely. Sorry about that. I already gave him as likely. I wasn't thinking. But, yeah, this is with likely, so that's even worse than what it could have been. Let's go ahead and go to lean, because I think that the rest are going to be leans. I think, not all the rest, of course. I mean, the ones that I'm showing right now, the rest are either going to be lean or tilt, for either candidate. So let's go to Arizona. Arizona, let's go look at that. Let's go look at Arizona. Let's click on Arizona. Look, Donald Trump has a 31% chance to Joe Biden's 69% chance to win this. It went to the Democrat in 2018, and the Republican Martha McSally, who's very corrupt, by the way, very corrupt, accepts a lot of dark money and gets a lot of influence from corporations and big special interest groups. And she is obviously doing very poorly because she's not a good candidate in the slightest. She's terrible. They could have, I don't know why the governor would put her up knowing she's just going to lose again. You put up a losing candidate in Arizona. You put up the losing candidate to take John McCain's place. Really? I would put someone up who's a winner, not a loser like Martha McSally. But I think Martha McSally, honestly, I think Joe Biden would win without Martha McSally, but I think Donald Trump would have a much better chance if Martha McSally was not on the ticket. I think Martha McSally is bringing Trump down, which is shown in the polls, because Joe Biden is, I mean, Donald Trump is doing much better than Martha McSally does in most of the polls, but he's still doing very poorly in Arizona, as you can see right here. And if you look in 2016, let's actually look in 2016, in the Arizona polls. And you will see something that's much different than what you see here in 2020. So, to all you people out there that think Joe Biden will not win, it just can't happen, let's look at this. Let's look at Trump versus Clinton. Let's look at most of the polls that were coming out in Arizona in real career politics. Look at this. Do you see the difference? How many polls showed Hillary Clinton ahead? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one tie. That's it. Donald Trump was leading in every single poll. Now, let's look in 2020, perhaps. Let's look in 2020. Look at this. All blue. All blue. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh, one for Trump. Oh, Trafalgar, of course. Right-leaning poll. So, of course, it shows Trump doing better. All blue. All blue. All blue. As you notice, in 2016, oh, look. Oh, SurveyMonkey. Very unreliable poll. So, no, I'm not going to count those at all. Even the one that has Biden ahead, I do not count that. Look, all blue. All blue. All blue. All blue. Oh, wait, one red from Reliable Pollster. This was back in September 15th to 22nd, when Donald Trump was doing better than now. But I think that was an outlier, so obviously it's not really going to make much of a difference. But look, you get my point. Donald Trump is doing much worse, definitely in a battleground state of Arizona, than he did. If you actually look at polling and history, the person who's leading in a lot of these states consistently, like, it's very important to look at polls from the year before when it comes to an incumbent. When it comes to 4 years ago on an incumbent, you got to make sure you look at polling from 4 years ago to take into account, because it really matters. Because the polling was worse back then, and they still had Donald Trump. The polling is actually decent now. Polling was bad back then, for the most part. And it still showed Donald Trump winning Arizona. Now the polling's better, Joe Biden's winning. So I would say that Joe Biden is doing very well in Arizona. I would say it's a very good shot to win it. I would say it's a lean margin. Joe Biden's going to win it, people. He's probably going to win it. He's been leading in it throughout the election. There hasn't been a moment where Donald Trump actually has taken the lead, I don't think, in Arizona, when it comes to 538 at least. Except maybe at the very beginning. But let's go to the state of Wisconsin. I do think that's going to be a lean. I think that's going to be a lean just because I'm not too sure about the polling. You never know. I know the polling has gotten better since 4 years ago, but just to be safe, I'm going to put it as lean. Let's go ahead and look at the polling of the state of Wisconsin. And as you can see, by the way, just heads up, Joe Biden is doing better than he ever has in the state of Arizona. So Wisconsin. Let's look at Wisconsin. 12% chance Donald Trump wins, 88% chance for Joe Biden. This is stuck around the same margin. It actually went down 1, but I don't really think that's significant, really. And it actually went up once. It went down once, and now it's back up to 88. So I would say that's going to be about the same for a while. Let's see. An Ipsos poll, 7 points. But I want to point out something. But remember, the polling has gotten much better than 4 years ago. So I think this is why I'm giving it to Joe Biden, even though Donald Trump is losing the state in, the polling. But, Wisconsin. Let's look at Wisconsin. I almost lost my train of thought. No, that's going to be for another time. So, okay, let's go to Wisconsin. Where's Wisconsin? Oh, I know what I was going to do. Okay. Wisconsin 2016 polls. Okay, Wisconsin, I assume that's Trump versus Clinton. Let's go ahead and look at Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin, it wasn't all that big of a margin for Hillary Clinton, but you got to take this into account. This is what is actually different about this time versus that time. Back then, Hillary Clinton had a 6.5% chance. I mean, a 6.5% lead in Wisconsin. Donald Trump ended up winning it by 0.7%, which is very close. Only by a few votes, like a few thousand, like a good chunk, 1,000 votes. So he won it by a narrow margin. So, of course, as you can see here, Hillary Clinton has never once led by 50% or more in Wisconsin. That's what a lot of these states show, actually. You actually look at the state of Wisconsin. Look at this. Look at this. Popular vote. Let's look at the polls. Let's just look at the polling. Straight up. Look at this. Do you notice something here? Joe Biden is above 50% in Wisconsin. That means he is almost guaranteed to win the state. It could be off, but it is almost guaranteed. Hillary Clinton, as you can see, was only at 46.8% on election day. That means there's a lot of undecided that switched, that could have had a chance to vote. This time, like I said before, most people are decided, and they're deciding already. They're already voting, and most of them are going to vote for Joe Biden. And obviously, Joe Biden is winning the majority. Joe Biden is not Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden is much more popular. He's much more liked. He's much more likable than Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton had the big email scandal and all that stuff, which Joe Biden has the Hunter Biden scandal. But it's not really, who cares? That's not really going to affect anything. Obviously, people don't care about that as much as the Hillary Clinton email scandal, or else they wouldn't say that they like and favor Joe Biden. So, I would say that that's why I would give Joe Biden a lean in Wisconsin, which is, honestly, I would say I could give it a likely, but I'm going to give it a lean for now. And Pennsylvania, I would say lean. I would say a lean margin for Joe Biden. So, the reason I say that is that I would have given it a likely just a couple weeks ago, but I'm saying lean now because of the data I see, and it looks a little closer I do think after the election, the presidential debate, it will widen a little bit for Joe Biden, give him a small bump. But I do think that it is lean as of right now. Let's go ahead and go down to, let's go back. Let's go back. Pennsylvania. 13% chance for Donald Trump to win, 87% chance for Joe Biden. Obviously, Joe Biden's about the same that he's been, except maybe one down. Let's look at Rasmussen reports. It does oversample Republicans, and I would say that's good news for Biden, Joe Biden, because he is still winning in a Republican pollster. So I would say, and of course Harris X has shown Joe Biden doing a little worse. I mean, in most polls, they show him doing a little worse than every other poll. But, okay, so a recent poll, Ipsos, B- rated pollster. Joe Biden is below 50%, barely, but he's 4% ahead. That's why I've shifted. And as you can see, Joe Biden used to lead by 8, 6, 7, 5, 5, 7, 13, 3, 4, 8, 11, 12. And we haven't had one of those polls in a while where he's leading by a huge margin. And SurveyMonkey, I do not trust at all. But I would say Joe Biden will win this by about 5.5, 6%. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I don't think it's going to be a 10-point margin. But surprisingly, I think it should be. But, I mean, because at this point, how is Donald Trump still doing so well in Pennsylvania after all the terrible things he's done? Definitely when it comes to his response to coronavirus, the fact that he's bombing more countries, killing a lot of innocent civilians, he's locking up children in the border and putting them in cages, and he's given tax cuts and tax breaks to billionaires and the wealthiest people in this country, and gave a temporary tax cut to the middle class, where the middle class only gets about 15-20% of that tax benefit. So I don't think he's done well. He's obviously very nervous because he's trying to push out the stimulus bill. I don't think it's going to work, and I think a lot of people are going to blame that on Donald Trump. So I do think that Joe Biden would win Pennsylvania by by 5 to 6 points. Really close, obviously, still. 5 to 6 points is a little shaky, but I think Joe Biden, with his national lead, which has maintained itself, by the way, actually, except in a few polls like Ipsos and stuff like that. But other than that, Joe Biden is still leading by quite a bit in the national, which should push him over in a lot of these battleground states alone, just for having a big lead like that. But the state of Iowa, let's look at Iowa. Actually, Iowa has a very contested Senate race right now between Joni Ernst and Greenfield, I think. I think it's very contested. We'll also look at those in a bit. Let's go ahead and Iowa. Okay. Donald Trump has actually gained leads in this state when it comes to the percentage of chance to win. Just about a week ago, he had a 45%. Joe Biden had a 45% chance, and at one point a 46% chance. Donald Trump has gained in that area since then to a 58% chance to win, which I would agree it goes to Donald Trump. But I do think it could go to Joe Biden, but I don't think it's likely. So, obviously the polling averages show Joe Biden ahead. I don't agree with that. If the election were held today, Donald Trump would win. Projected vote share, Donald Trump will win by about 1.3%. And that's why I would give that to Donald Trump. One, because he's hurt a lot of farmers when it comes to his tariffs with China and many other countries. He's put a lot of tariffs. So I would say that's a lean at this point. I'll take that back. I would say that is probably a tilt at this point. But yes, that's what I think. And Ohio, which is actually surprisingly close. Let's go ahead and look at that. Ohio. So Ohio. What do we know about Ohio? We know it voted for Donald Trump and voted for Barack Obama twice, and then voted for George W. Bush twice. But the thing is Donald Trump should be doing very well in Ohio, considering how big he won it. Just 4 years ago, he won it by almost 500,000 votes, which is a big margin. He won it bigger than the state of Georgia, which is crazy. The fact that he could win a state like Ohio that went to Barack Obama twice by 8 percentage points. So the fact that he's only 50-50 right now is very bad news for Donald Trump. And the fact that he's tied in the polling average and the popular vote chance is very troubling for him as well. But Joe Biden, in a Rasmussen poll, he's leading by 1. But I do think overall the election, just because I think when people turn out, it'll give Trump about a 1-point win. I think it will be a tilt. Not good for Donald Trump, obviously. Joe Biden has won back a lot of those voters that voted for Donald Trump. Or a lot of voters just didn't come out for or are not going to come out for Donald Trump. I think more people are willing to turn out for Joe Biden. Unless Donald Trump messes with mail-in ballots and tries to throw them out, then I think Donald Trump could win. But if that happens, that's obviously undemocratic. And that's obviously not a fair way to win. I wish more people would talk about that. The fact that he's trying to cheat the election. He's trying any way to cheat and steal it. But I would say that Texas, at this point, honestly, I don't know what to say about Texas. Either a lean or a tilt for Donald Trump. But I do think Donald Trump has a 69% chance. It's hard to say. Let's look at the... Okay. I would say probably Donald Trump wins this by, I would say, a lean margin. I would say this is going to be a lean margin for Donald Trump. I think he'll win by about 2 percentage points. I know that doesn't sound like a lean margin, but when it comes to his chances as well, you got to factor that in. He has a good chance at winning Texas. I think he will win Texas by a lean margin. And there's 4 more states left. Let's go to Maine. So, Maine at large, I think will go to Joe Biden by a likely margin. I think he'll do much better than Hillary Clinton did, which Hillary Clinton only won by about 3 percentage points in the state of Maine as a whole. So, I do think Donald Trump will narrowly hold on to the district in Maine. And Joe Biden will win that district easily, giving him that 1 electoral vote plus the 2. So I do think that Donald Trump will win that 1 very narrowly. It could switch. Obviously, Joe Biden could win it based on his appeal with more white, older voters that he's had historically in the last few months. So, what do I think? What do I think about Nebraska? I think that Joe Biden has a likely chance to win the Nebraska district. Every poll shows him winning by sometimes almost double digits. I think it's over in Nebraska's district almost. I would say Joe Biden is going to win there pretty decently. I think it's a good shot he's going to win there. I think it's a good chance. And North Carolina. Let's look at North Carolina. The state of North Carolina, actually has Joe Biden at a 68% chance to win. I'm pretty skeptical of that myself. Let's look at the margin, the popular vote. I have to disagree with this a little bit. I think that Joe Biden's going to do worse among African Americans than Barack Obama did, which is the key group that got him over in North Carolina. But who knows? Actually, maybe he could win the older voters and pull off a victory. But as of right now, I think I'm going to give North Carolina to Donald Trump based on the fact that it historically votes Republican. It only voted Democrat one time. And I don't think that North Carolina is, it could go the other way, but I do think it's probably going to go to Donald Trump. And Georgia, I think, let's look at Georgia. It's hard to say. Georgia is really close right now. But I do think it will probably go to Donald Trump based on historical trends by a tilt margin. And it's crazy that he's even getting this close to the presidency, getting this close to re-election. But Florida, I'm getting a little nervous about Florida. I don't know what to say about Florida. Florida could easily switch to Donald Trump. It's very close at this point. Very close. Look at all the polling. It's so close. Very within the margin of error. Totally could flip. And honestly, I think it's hard to say. I'm going to give the edge to Joe Biden. The narrow edge to Joe Biden. Just because Donald Trump, if you actually look, Donald Trump, actually did about like this in, he did a little better in Florida in 2016. But this time he's doing a little worse. And there was at one point where Joe Biden led by quite a lot in Florida. But that's obviously tightened. And obviously, see, it's tighter for Hillary Clinton than Joe Biden was. Obviously, it was very mixed. Now, let's look at Florida for the forecast now, let's just look at the raw polling data. Let's look at raw polling data. Let's look. See, it's not as mixed as you would think. It's more Joe Biden winning. He's just winning most of these polls. There was a lot of polls, almost a quarter, if not a little more, about 32% of polls showing Donald Trump leading in Florida. So that's much better than Donald Trump's doing now. Donald Trump is occasionally leading barely in Florida in any of these polls. So the fact that that's the case, it's pretty bad for Donald Trump. And I would say, just based on history, and honestly, this makes it harder because the fact that it voted in a wave year, in a blue wave year in 2018, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I think that could go either way. I'm going to give it to narrow Joe Biden lead, though. Narrow Joe Biden lead. This is not an election that can't flip, so you have to get out and vote. This is not over by any means. But Donald Trump probably is not going to win. But don't not vote, though. Get out and vote. Even if you're in a blue state, go vote. It doesn't matter. Or if you're in a red state, go vote. It doesn't matter. Every vote counts. So go and vote. New Hampshire, I do think that's going to be a likely margin for Joe Biden. I think he does a lot better in the Midwest than Hillary Clinton did. I think he does a lot better among whiter voters, older voters, and he improves among suburban voters than Hillary Clinton did well in 4 years ago. yeah, I do think that this would be the map. This would be the map as of right now for the presidency. And this is just we're just getting started. This is the presidency, guys. This is not completely a full depth analysis. I could do a full depth analysis on every single state, but that's pointless. So let's stick to the battlegrounds. But just for reference, let's go ahead and give you the reference for New Hampshire, and show you why I give you the data I do. New Hampshire, where are you? New Hampshire. Okay, 13% chance for Donald Trump, 87% chance for Biden. His chances are the best it's ever been. He's up 12, 10, 12, 8, 16, 9, 9, 17. See, guys, this is why it's going to be easy Joe Biden win. This is going to be an easy Joe Biden win. I think New Hampshire's gone. Donald Trump can't win it at this point. I don't even think it's possible. I don't see why they give him a 13%. I would give him more of a 3 or 4% chance. But yeah, Joe Biden doing very well in the state of New Hampshire, which is why I give it the likely margin. And let's go ahead and I want to check out, see if anyone said anything, or if any of you are watching. I'm not even sure. This is just going to get uploaded to my okay. Let's go. Okay. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, this is my prediction as of right now. I think North Carolina, Ohio, Iowa, and Georgia will tilt to Donald Trump. They could go back. I think Georgia has a better shot than Ohio at going to Biden, just because of the demographics and stuff about the state. But, the state of Florida's tilt, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania lean, Arizona lean, Colorado likely, Nevada likely, Michigan likely, Minnesota likely, that district likely, New Hampshire likely, Maine likely, Maine District 1 solid, and Maine District 2 tilt to Donald Trump, with a lot of red states being closer than usual, and Texas being a lean. So, let's move on to, let me check this. Okay, let's move on to the 20, let's look at the, let's look at the Senate race. The Senate. Alright guys, I actually have changed my mind. I'm actually going to wrap up for right now, but I'm going to do the Senate tomorrow. I'm going to do the Senate tomorrow, and then I'm going to do the House the day after. And I'm going to upload that as 3 separate live stream videos for you to watch on my YouTube channel. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you watch till the very end to get the analysis. And tell me whether you agree, disagree in the comments below. Give me your suggestions of any videos or live streams you want me to do. I'll probably be live streaming more than anything. And, honestly, that's really it. There'll be some things I might do in the Senate video that have to do with the general election. But other than that, it's going to be mostly the Senate. So I want to thank you all for watching when you do. I mean, I know no one's watching right now. I don't know if anyone has so far. But I'm a new channel, obviously, and I don't have much clout. So, you know, tell people about my channel. You know, like the video. Subscribe. If you want more content like this, obviously it encourages me when I get people watching to do more content. But I'm going to keep pumping out content. I'm going to do content tomorrow and the day after. And I might do a video after that, actually. I might just keep doing videos every day until the election. I might actually cover the... tell me if anyone wants me to cover the Democratic... the presidential the presidential debate. I can. I'm thinking about it. I'm not too sure on that. But I might do my reaction and coverage of the debate with a face cam. And, all that to come with it. So yeah, that's all I had to say. I hope you like my videos. Tell me anything I can improve on, or anything you think should be different. Obviously, some people are going to have differing views on what the map's going to look like. So tell me what you think in the comments down below. I will talk to you guys later, and just subscribe, and thank you so much. And you guys have a nice night, and a good rest of your day tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, guys. See ya.